You may have heard me saying this in the past, quote, as watch reviewers, we tend to get a bit desensitized with the amount of watches that we have in our hands, and we tend to look for more in a new watch when we get our hands on, or we become a bit more critical, so to speak. Well, what if I told you that with the watch that we're going to take a look at today, all that doesn't really matter, and it doesn't really give me the urge to criticize it because it has a very calming design. Yes, I did say calming when I was describing the watch. Element comes from a brand called Mudita that focuses primarily on simplicity, and they design everything with that in mind. They produce alarm clocks and also mobile phones and also watches in this case. This is their second model, and I genuinely think that this is an amazing idea. I mean, in a time where we have distractions at every step and we're overloaded with information literally everywhere we look, it is nice to know that there are brands out there that try to eliminate all the clutter and trying to bring a peaceful vibe to our day-to-day lives. I will leave a link down below to their website. Next to that, a subscribe button. Do check them out, as I feel that their mission statement is a bit of a breath of fresh air. Now, this was or still is on Kickstarter, depending on when the full video airs, and it got fully backed. I'm honestly not surprised, because this thing may not look like it has much to love about it, but it actually has a lot to love about it. In terms of price, I'll reveal that later in the video, but feel free to pause the video and let me know in the comment section how much do you think this costs, in case you haven't seen other reviews from other channels. So let's get into it. At first glance, ironically, the thing that strikes me the most is the design, or the lack of. And don't get me wrong here, like I said in my recent Venezianico video, put a link somewhere on the screen if you want to check that out, there is a subtle art to make things look good with very little elements available, no pun intended. Here is done slightly different with a more soothing, calmer touch to it. There are no bold elements or angles that could stir up any negative thoughts that, that might get up your heart rate when you look at it. Minimalism is the headline here, from the material used all the way down to the proportion. This thing is very, very subtle on the wrist. It has the thinnest case ever. I mean, thinnest case I've ever seen for an automatic watch. I've measured this at 7.7 millimeters with my calipers with a flat sapphire crystal, and it weighs close to nothing with that titanium case, coming at 44 grams. So 44 grams for a 39 millimeter case automatic watch. That is insane, no matter how you look at it. So yeah, all those elements combined, especially with the 41 millimeter lug to lug, give it a flat profile on the wrist, so you literally have no problem wearing this all day, every day. Not to mention the two-piece leather strap that looks, actually vegan leather, that looks like a NATO strap with those titanium keepers. And also, it's actually very, very long, which is nothing bad, but depending on your wrist size, you might need to poke another hole in it. I wore this for a few days on and off, and I loved it. But currently, my wife seems to keep it most of the time in her watch box, and like the good husband that I am, it will end up being hers. When I say like the good husband that I am, she'll take it because I have no saying in it, let's face it. But my point is that the overall design in combination with the materials means that this is for everyone and for all wrist sizes. The case is made from titanium, and it has this bead blasted finish that is very unassuming, so to speak. Also, very, very fine to the touch. Again, same subtle tone to it. And apart from that case, there is nothing else special here, no other angles or anything that might distract you when you're looking at the watch. And again, especially when you don't have much case to work with that thinness. But again, Mudita went for that. That is the whole purpose of this, and that's how this is supposed to look. They went for that neutral look, and I think they nailed it. On the case, apart from that small crown at the 3, we have nothing else. Again, that's just a push-pull crown, giving it a 50-meter water resistance. Obviously, with the minimalist neutral look, you'd have some trade-offs like the water resistance. But look, My khaki field mechanical also has 50 meters of water resistance, and that is made for more rugged, more outdoorsy activities. And if I can live with that, I can definitely live with this. An increased water resistance would add a thickness, and I don't think that would sit well with the overall theme that Mudita went for here. Adding more to the minimalism is the dial, which I suppose is the main minimalistic aspect. This only comes in one color, which is white, and again sticks to the look that they're going for here. White is a neutral color, so you can kind of see why. To that, we have printed markers with black fence style, if you want to call them that, hands. No seconds hand, no text, no nothing. Very, very simple. Now, I won't use the words minimalistic or minimalism anymore, I promise. In this case, I suppose the simplicity in the dial contributes to the overall soothing tone, and the lack of seconds hand was probably done to remove distractions. And I get that, but some people might say that it lacks character and identity since we don't even have a logo. If you want a big brand on the dial and with that over the top presence, buy an Invicta and you're pretty much sorted. And that's it. This is not that, and it's not meant to be. There is text on the screwed-in case back with the logo, if by any chance you want to know what you have on the wrist. But to me, this is not particularly negative, and it's pretty much justified, if you want to call it that. What I would want to complain about is, in my case, the lack of loom, P-loom. But again, neutral colors here, a neutral look, and I've never seen a loom on black text or applied black markers before, so that might have something to do with it. So in this case, sorry guys, no P-loom this time. Let's just move on before. So let's talk about the movement, because this was my first experience with this caliber. It is powered by an automatic Sellita caliber SW330-1, which may somewhat justify the price when I reveal it. But specs first. 28,800 BPH with 25 joules and 3.5 millimeters thick, or should I say thin in this case. And this also has a 56 hours of power reserve depending on which variant you have. So movements past 2020 apparently have been upgraded to a different barrel, which give it a 56 hour power reserve, which in this case we also have in this watch. Also, I should mention that this can be regulated for cost standards. Mudita do regulate this before shipping for tolerances of plus to minus 5 seconds per day. Mine runs at plus 4 seconds per day, which validates the claim or the statement, so to speak, so I am quite happy with that. Again, I wouldn't be particularly too bothered about the fact that it may run, or it might run up to 4 or 10 seconds per day. But again, it's good to know that Mudita do regulate this in case you're looking at that. According to the internet, Zin and Monta use this caliber because of its slimness, which sort of makes sense in our case. In terms of price, the movement on its own costs between $300 and $350 in case you need to repair it. It's not cheap, or you need to replace it. It's not cheap, and it definitely adds to the price, which I will reveal right now if you're ready for this. This, during the Kickstarter campaign, costs on the Ultra Early Bird 599 euros, which is or was the one to go for depending on when the video airs. The Super Early Bird is 649 euros and the Early Bird is 699. And in case you want to buy this on a bundle or 2 elements, in this case, you're looking at 1,149 euros, which in this case brings me to my final thoughts. What do I think about the element? Well, I personally think that this watch is not aimed at the enthusiast like me, as we look for specs, bang for buck, and also something more to the design. Which doesn't mean that this one doesn't particularly have, but it's not made for the enthusiasm. And having this as part of a 5-watch collection, so to speak, kind of defeats the purpose of its simplicity and minimalism, as it's meant to reduce the feeling of clutter or stress or any distractions, so to speak. But if you're buying this as your only watch, then yes, by all means, it totally makes sense. It does what a watch is supposed to do and not much more, with a lot of reliability, I might add to that. Proof is with my wife that has 5 other watches from me, and she's not a watch enthusiast, and she literally stopped wearing all of them, literally all of them, because of this. And that to me is the best example of reducing clutter and distractions, as she is not, again, the enthusiast that I am. So yeah, should you buy the Mudita? Yes, 100%, 100%. Now, that was it from me, guys. That was the review from the Mudita Element. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about the Element, the brand as a whole, the theme that they're going for here. Thank you very, very much for watching. Click a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!